This here is the micro LED TV from AWAL. This is a 135-inch AWAL micro LED TV, and it's specifically a COB chip on board micro LED TV that is massive. They even have a bigger version, the 162-inch version, and they're also coming out with smaller versions. You guys can get on the early bird list right now, so be sure to check the description of this video because I have a special link there where you guys can opt in to be one of the first to know when these become available on the market. Why am I so excited about them? Well, micro LED TV technology, in my opinion, is the cream of the crop. It's the pinnacle of video quality and clarity. This here is the 135-inch version. They're very versatile and they're customizable. Plus, they're bright. They're very bright, so you can put them in very bright lit situations. There's so much we can get into inside this video. I want to show you guys how I put this 135-inch TV together, as well as go over some of the specs, including the 12,000 to 1 contrast ratio, and the fact that you can do multi-view. You can have multiple streams on one display seamlessly. Yes, seamlessly, no seams. You don't see seams, even though these are individual little modules, panels. I'll show you guys those. Wow, there's so much to get in this video. Let's go. Now, first, let me let you know that this is a pre-production model that AWAL has sent out to me. No money has been exchanged, and they did not get to review this video before I published. Here I am assembling the Peerless AWAL trolley that you can also get in the future from AWAL to be able to put these TVs on, which gives you a lot of multi-purpose in them. This is for the 135-inch version. They even make this trolley for the 162-inch. The smaller 75-inch and 81-inch TVs will come with wall mounts or floor stands. This is a two-man job, by the way. Production versions of the micro LED TVs from AWAL will include processors built right into the TV themselves, so you're not going to have to do some of the stuff you're seeing me do here in this video, but I'm taking each one of the panels and connecting them to the trolley through the included hardware with the Peerless trolley mount. These individual panels will have 8 micro LED modules per panel, and there are 25 of these panels that make up the 135-inch micro LED TV. AWAL suggests that it takes 2 people about 2 hours to assemble this TV, and in my case, didn't have 2 people, just myself, but it went together actually pretty seamlessly, and I referenced the instructions, but it kind of is common sense to how it just all goes together like Lego pieces. So before I continue adding rows of the panels here, take a look at my Seymour screen behind here. That is a 110-inch Seymour screen in the back there. I just wanted to give you guys some perspective. This thing dwarfs the 110-inch. I wouldn't have thought that 110-inch versus 135 inches would be that big of a difference. The TV's going up to there. We've got 3 more rows of these circuit board panels to install, but I just was like looking at it here and I'm like, this is going to be an amazing, massive micro LED TV when I get this done. I continued on installing each one of the 25 panels onto the rails themselves, and this is really similar to how it would get mounted onto a wall. I just happen to be mounting it onto this Peerless trolley here. I plan to later actually mount this directly to my wall, but I wanted to set it up in this way first to kind of demonstrate it. And before I do that, I will have to reconfigure my Triad LCR speakers in the walls so that they won't be behind the screen. One of the reasons micro LED TVs like this have been so expensive is that there is so much actually going on here with these micro LED TVs, and the number of pixels and control that you have over those pixels is just mind-boggling. I'm putting this together by myself for the first time without any assistance from AWAL, and I was surprised at how easy it was to put it together. Yes, it might look a little bit daunting, but literally I'm just plugging in power cables, running some RJ45 cat cables in sequence based on the instructions provided to me. And if you can plug in a network cable, you can assemble this. This is what it looks like from the backside with all of those panels powered on. I did test it out, and I have it plugged into the H2 processor. This is the Novastar H2 processor that processes all those panels and seamlessly connects them into one screen. Now it was time to install all 200 of the micro LED modules. I'll admit I was a little nervous when I was installing these for the first time, but after I got the hang of it, they really just magnetically snap into place and I was off to the races. And don't worry if you happen to damage one of these in the installation or in the future, AWAL actually provides you with spares in the box, and you can even get additional spares in the future that were manufactured on the same production run as your original panels were produced. And as far as seeing any of the seams, there's so much calibration that can be done inside these panels to fix any type of seam issues. I got my kaleidoscope connected up and started playing movies, and I was blown away.
My Duke and my friends.
So one of the big benefits of micro LED technology is that you have pixel level brightness control. You can control the individual brightnesses of every single pixels. This completely blows like local dimming technology out of the water because you have pixel color accuracy. You have pixel level brightness accuracy. And in fact, in the software, I was even able to dial in, I could control myself manually the brightness of every single little pixel on this entire massive 135-inch display. You can also control it based on the individual panel sizes or the individual modules themselves. One of the huge benefits of micro LED technology, and it's one of the reasons why I think that micro LED TVs and the technology surrounding it, like AWAL is bringing to the table here, is the next big wave in TV technology. It's not like it hasn't been around for a while, but it's just not been accessible from a budget or a pricing standpoint, and it really hasn't been brought to the consumer market. Well, that time is definitely now, with AWAL bringing various sizes to the market, especially the fact that you can scale this from a smaller TV all the way up to a bigger TV. Now, the only thing really that comes close to micro LED technology in terms of the contrast and those black levels is OLED TV. The problem with OLED TV though is that they get extremely expensive when you get up, well, you really can't get beyond about 83 inches in size with OLED technology, especially for the consumer. But these micro LED TVs can be literal video walls up to 162 inches, if not bigger. So these become very versatile. Now, are they dirt cheap? No, you're talking about some of the best technology possible for your TV, your home theater, you name it. These video wall displays, TVs, whatever we're gonna call them, this technology, I believe, is the future of large scale TVs. And maybe you don't need a massive TV, you just want to get the micro LED TV technology. Well, that is possible. You can actually get micro LED TVs at smaller scales, and AWAL is one of the first companies that's making this affordable. Well, in fact, they've partnered up with a company that has massive capability to produce these little modules. These are the individual modules right here. Can you see them? Can you see them? No, you can't, because you can't see the seams. But if we were to get up really, really close to these, we can try to search and hunt and find, well, man, I'm still just having such a hard time finding the seams. So I'll tell you what, if we turn the screen to dark, so if I just make the screen dark, there you go. Now you can see, if we get up close, you can see the individual modules. So there's individual modules on here that make up this massive display. And that's what makes it so versatile, because you can expand these and add onto them. Or, oh no, your child threw a toy at your TV. Well, you're not replacing the whole TV, you're just replacing the damaged modules in order to be back in business. And you might ask, well, how do you replace the modules? Cool little suction cup. Let me show you. Here's a module right here. We want to remove this, suction, pull. There we go. That easy. We've just removed one of the modules. This is just held on by strong magnets. And if we were to replace it, pop it back in. One of the things I like about this is you're able to get this scale of TV into spaces that you might not have been able to previously. Like, there's no way that a 135-inch TV was fitting through this door right here. So it wouldn't be possible to get an OLED this size or even a QLED massive TV in here. Just not possible. I am very impressed at the pixel density quality. This is a 0.9 pitch. They also make a 1.2, depending on your application. You might need a 0.9 or a 1.2. The smaller the number, the closer and more dense the pixels are. So if you're going to be watching it up much closer, you're probably going to want to have a smaller number in your pixel pitch. So a 0.9 might be better for you. If you're going to be further away from it, then a 1.2 would be suffice, because you won't even appreciate the quality and clarity of a 0.9 pitch at a further distance. The AWAL MicroLED TVs have HDR10+. They have a massively wide color gamut. They're 4K Ultra HD. They have a 12,000:1 contrast ratio. They have the latest COB technology, which is that chip on board, which is the best way to process all of that video data to all these modules quickly, is the chip is on board. That is very, very important when you're looking at micro LED TVs. It also has multi-view, which means you can stream 4 to 6 different channel inputs, that's HDMI inputs, into one display and then configure them however you want. The 135-inch 0.9 pixel pitch display here has a 1200 nit brightness. It's 1200 max brightness. I actually dial mine back to about 46% here inside the theater because there is controlled lighting. But if you were in a brighter living room area where you've got a lot of natural light coming into it, you might want to bump that brightness up. But you've got ultimate control over that brightness. I can dial this way, way back, or I can put it all the way up to that max brightness. There's also zero blue light. And there's none of that harmful blue light that's emitted out of the micro LED TVs like there is out of the display that you're probably watching at home, maybe even this video on. And this has professional color accuracy straight out of the box, whereas a lot of consumer TVs would just say that they're not the best color accuracy straight out of the box. And you probably didn't know that you could tune your TV, but you might not know how to tune it. These are professionally tuned straight out of the box. It has a refresh rate of 60 Hertz, so it's going to be great for watching movies or TV shows. As far as gaming goes, the 60 Hertz, you could certainly play a lot of games on a 60 Hertz, but you might want to do it on a different display if you want that 120 or 144 Hertz. You can also configure this display into 2 different aspects ratio. You can do a 21:9 cinescope aspect ratio, or you can do the more traditional 16:9 aspect ratio. In fact, you can configure that in the link that I have in the description and play around with it, because it's kind of cool to see the different sizes that you can create based on the type of aspect ratio that you want to have. You can go all the way up to 162 inch in the 16:9 aspect ratio, or a 75 inch to 129 inch in that 21:9 cinescope aspect ratio. You can also choose between a 0.9 pixel pitch like this display is, or a 1.2. The 1.2 is a little less expensive, and in a lot of cases, it's going to be totally sufficient for your use case. Now let's talk about cost for a second, because cost is a big deal when it comes to this massive a display. Samsung will sell this scale of a TV for the cost of a luxury exotic car. This gets you down below $50,000 for the largest TV that AWAL makes, and the price only goes down further from there. As little as $8,000, you can get into micro LED technology, which is pretty amazing. And I've got all the prices in the description of this video, so click on that and check them all out. Be sure to opt in to be one of the first to know about when these become available and get yours before anybody else does.